Hi, guys, and welcome back in the new year for the second half of Star Wars Resistance, the second half of the season. I am your host, Kees Cornelis, for today's show of Viva la Resistance. As usual, I am joined by Chris Delman and Nico. Of course, he's back, and we're keeping him on because we like him. And today we're reviewing the episode Bibo, in where Neeku adopts this weird sea creature called Bibo, in which could be considered as the very first filler episode of the show. Chris,
Wait, I adopt a sea creature, or Neeku adopts a sea creature?
Neeku. Okay, sorry. The names are similar. Chris, I see you grab something. Oh, it's the shades. I think I know what you think of this episode.
Okay, so look, I love this show, and I will never besmirch the cast, nor the crew, nor the showrunners. But man, it frustrates me immensely when I see a bunch of cliches that I've seen in other shows, to where I can literally predict every single line that every character is going to say, and where I know exactly the story beats of where it's going to go. And when it doesn't surprise me, like Dave Filoni, who is like Dave Filoni normally would, or any of the other producers on the show, if they could have done that, then I would view this episode more fondly. But as it stands right now, this is by far the worst episode of the show. But to be fair, all great shows have at least one bad episode. So if we came back from break to get the bad one out of the way, hey.
Then we ramp up to the good stuff.
Exactly. So, no complaints from me then.
Anyway, Nico, what were your thoughts on this episode?
So, due to exhaustion, I kind of felt like I had to watch this episode twice just to make sure, maybe I was just too tired to process what I was seeing the first time around. And then, second time I watched it, I was like, yeah, okay, this is a bit of a slug that we're going through here. I noticed the same tropes that Chris noticed, tropes that I recognized from past children's shows that I've seen throughout my lifetime. And once you've seen it a couple times, it kind of it loses its appeal. I'm not saying it's a bad episode. I'm just saying it was kind of boring. It was kind of boring. It felt like something I had seen before, and so there was really nothing to keep me interested in what was going on. I will say, though, I do enjoy the fact that the creature's name was Bibo, because I host an Arrowverse discussion show called Crisis on Earthplex over on Multiplex, and one of the recurring things going on in the Arrowverse is this blue stuffed toy called Bibo that keeps appearing in all of the Arrowverse shows from time to time, and so I was like, oh, I can enjoy this little thing.
Well, I probably like this episode the most out of you guys, even though, yes, I do consider it filler. I didn't really care.
That never happened.
No, that's true. I have, especially with Rebels, when there was a filler episode, I would hate on it, regardless of whatever would happen. In this case, no, I liked it. I was fine with the episode. There are a couple of things that I do think will come into play later. But as of right now, it doesn't really seem that consequential. Like the fireball actually flying again for the first time in the entire season successfully. That was the thing. Or maybe Captain Doza actually seeing the monster, which might have something to do later. So there are definitely a couple of things that I do think will be of consequence later, but yeah, overall, it was like what happened in the episode was Neeku got a little creature called Bibo, and that little creature was actually taken from his mom, and the mom was angry, and the mom attacked the station, and then it retrieved its baby again. What happened in this episode, guys? It's like as you guys say, it is very predictable, because I think very early on in the episode, the moment that we had the big monster, I was like, that's his mother. And I could recognize that because, as you guys say, it has been done a million times in other shows, movies, and that type of stuff. Like, yes, it's the mother. It's not that new anymore. And the fact that it did it, makes it predictable. Makes it, yeah. Chris, shades are on again.
Shades are indeed on. Now, okay, I want to have episodes that focus strictly on Neeku because sometimes the comic relief characters have some of the best backstory, or they have some of the best dramatic moments they can offer to the table. You know, take for example another show that I'm rewatching while we're watching this, and that's my favorite show of all time, Avatar. I just got it on Blu-ray last week, and I'm just binging the whole damn thing.
Nice.
And Sokka's story is honestly one of the best arcs in the show. But he didn't make such an obvious mistake. But granted, he is a different character than Neeku because, sure, Sokka's the comic relief, but he's also a genius. Sadly, Neeku, a genius he is not. And that showed very much in this episode when he should have been able to figure out right away that whatever the big monster was, it had to be Bibo's mother.
But he was really like, no, this is my thing. I want it. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, that felt really out of character for what we've seen from Neeku so far. And granted, I could be completely misinterpreting, how I view the character, but that's just kind of where I'm coming from, because this episode really seemed out of character for Neeku, and I think that's kind of like my main quote unquote issue with it.
Okay, can't really say that I fully agree with you on that one. Anyway, Nico, how do you view the character of someone who is very similarly named to you?
Well, coincidentally, I feel like he shares a lot of 5-year-old me's life story in that. Let's put it like this: Neeku is basically 5-year-old me in that he is the Asperger's child who is not very street smart, but thinks a lot with his heart and has good intentions, but doesn't already make the best decisions.
I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah, and in this case, he was thinking with his heart. He saw this creature in need that was all alone and didn't have anybody. So he was like, "I'm going to take this in and I'm going to care for it as best I can." And obviously, this little creature, Bibo, just gets so out of hand. But Neeku is desperate to prove that he can take care of it. He's so blinded by his love of this creature that he doesn't stop to take a moment to look at the features of this more gigantic creature that's attacking the Colossus. And all you have to do is look at the eyes and realize, oh,
hi, Mom.
You're the same species. Okay, this is the parent. I've made a terrible mistake here. But yeah. So I have a big heart too. I think we all do. And so if we were in the same situation, I could see us probably doing something similar. Granted, we might all take a quicker moment to look at the giant creature and be like, we could put the dots together faster. But then again, they had some time left to fill in the episode, so that's how they did it with the space battle. And I like that Chris brought up Avatar, because that was kind of the first example I had of the tropes that I recognized from previous television. In season 2, when Toph is teaching, Fufu Cuddly Poops, the moose deer baby. While Toph is teaching Aang how to earthbend, Sokka gets himself stuck in a hole, and then he befriends this
baby saber-toothed moose lion.
Yes, this baby saber-toothed moose lion cub, which he names Fufu Cuddly Poops, and then all of a sudden in comes the mother, and the same situation ensues. There's also an episode from How to Train Your Dragon's first show,
Riders of Berk.
Not Riders of Berk. They did a couple shows before that on Cartoon Network. Riders of Berk. Yeah, Race to the Edge is the Netflix continuation, but Riders of Berk. The Typhumarang torch they run into the same issue where they're like, there's a giant typhoomerang, and we have the baby. Here you go. So yeah, like it's been done so many times that it lost its impact here.
I was gonna say Clone Wars did the same trope. I'm blanking on the name of the episode, but this was in like season 2 or season 3.
I can't remember. Honestly, can't.
Me neither, but I thought that I thought to myself, did Star Wars already do this once before? And I feel like they did. We're struggling to remember what it was, but I feel like they've done it before. So, yeah, again, more reason for it to have lost its impact. What can you do? I will say, though, Neeku eating that...
At the end.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was an interesting twist to finish off the episode.
See, now, and that's why I can't hate this episode, because, like, now, moments like that, if there were more of them in the last act of this episode, it would have completely made me love it. Like, for example, if, let's say, like, he sees that that is Bibo's mother, and he gives it back, but Bibo's mom eats Bibo, that would have saved the episode. Or if, I don't know, like there's just certain decisions that if they had thrown us for a loop, it would have been something different. If they had taken the cliches and subverted them, that would have made it better for me.
I understand it. As someone who liked it probably the most out of you guys, I will say why I have the moments to like it. I like why that Sonara was back in it.
Yes,
more of her character and more interaction with her and
Kragan.
No, just well, of course, the pirate leader, but just more interaction with her and the crew of Tam, Cass, and whatnot. So that was nice to see. Also, she sees where the alarm is.
With the pirate alarm.
I think that will come into play at one point, so that's probably important. I liked. I need to think because as I said, the fact that we saw the fireball again, I did like to see the Aces defend the Colossus. We haven't really seen that much yet because there was only like we've seen one pirate attack and the Aces were gone at that point. That was the reason that there was a pirate attack. This time, the Aces were there, and they could actually defend the facility and shoot proton torpedoes at the monster. So that was kind of cool to see. I mean, not like I want to see this like when the Aces defended against something like the First Order, not a giant sea monster, because I wasn't really waiting for a goddamn sea monster in this show. But still, I like the fact that we had the Aces in this episode.
Absolutely, and actually, to go off of your point, and I'm gonna say one more negative thing, but I'm gonna turn it into a positive. Mm-hmm. You know, it was seeing the group actually communicate as well as they did, even though they did that. Again, they did the stupid cliche of just attacking. And now, again, if you want to make this episode even better, at least in my eyes, have them kill the mother. Then if they're gonna do the proton torpedoes, because the proton torpedoes did nothing.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That frustrated me. But it was nice seeing how tight the Aces all communicate. Plus, ship moment for all of 2 seconds. Tora waving and Kaz waving back. I was so happy.
But here's my thought, though. I feel like they also sort of like minorly planted seeds for something to throw us off the Tezuda Kazora trail, where like Kaz was hitting on Sonara when they were on that boat. Yeah. And I've broken Chris. Chris.
Chris is crushed. It seems. Shit's come on again. How dare you, sir?
Well, I'm never being allowed back on ever again. It was nice knowing y'all.
Okay, so just before we started this episode, we were thinking, hey, maybe Nico should host the next episode. Chris, how do you feel about that now?
Just go to final thoughts.
Nico, your final thoughts.
I don't know if I had one. That last bit kind of threw me off. But I'm curious to see where things go from here. Because, like, if this was sort of a filler episode, then that could mean that next week's episode won't really have much to do with what we saw this week. But who knows? That there could also. I'm also curious to see if, like, maybe this isn't as much of a filler episode as we think. Maybe there's some underlying stuff that we'll get answers towards down the road, but we're not gonna get immediately next week. Like, for all we know, Bibo. We don't know how quick the lifespan of those types of creatures are. Like, for all we know, Bibo could grow to like the same size as his mom within like 3 episodes. We don't know. We don't know. But basically, my thought is I have questions, and hopefully I will get answers in the coming weeks.
Chris.
So all joking aside, and to go back to what you guys were bringing up with more of Sonara, like, that's not how I read that scene. I just read that scene as she is actually becoming more friendly. That's why she didn't like try to. Because look, let's be honest here. If Sonara wanted to, she could have just pulled a gun on Kaz and been like, "Just tell me who the hell you are and who are those pilots that saved. Just tell me you're one of those pilots that saved me." But
yeah,
instead, we didn't go that route.
Mm-hmm.
And she tried to actually be friendly about it, similarly to how Tora tried to approach Kaz when they had that same conversation 2 episodes ago, and I'm still mad about it.
I sense the butthurt is strong in you.
Oh yes, it is, man. Don't you forget it.
Unclench the butt. Release your anger.
But, well, yeah, speaking of butts, there's a butt for you. No, like, there actually is a lot that, there were just these little moments that are starting to pile up that once they finally move forward with the next episode, like, the next episode I can already tell is going to be, we're going to go back to the main plot. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm so jacked with that knowledge because I already have a feeling that, because of this attack, Captain Doza is going to be making a call that he's going to regret at the end of the season when he has to sacrifice himself to blow up the station after everyone else gets off because the First Order came on, and then... Oh, now I'm just speculating. Now I'm done.
Who are you going to call? First Order!
This is exactly what I said! This is exactly what I said! That's amazing! I think Chris can attest to this. Seriously. Chris said the exact same thing after he was done watching the episode and we were on Skype together, and I literally said the exact same thing you just said. That's fucking...
I've been hanging out with you guys so much that we're basically thinking alike.
Oh, dear. I wonder... I don't know if that's good or bad. Anyway, my thoughts are... throughout the last couple of episodes, and especially considering the trailer we just had, yes, we need to gear up towards the moment where Captain Doza will indeed call the help of the First Order and make sure that, he wants the First Order to protect the Colossus. And, of course, then it's going to go all bad, I think. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of that in the next episode. I hope we get more of that in the next episode because we didn't get any of it really in this episode, except for the fact that, the station was attacked by a giant sea monster. So that might tie into the fact that Doza is like, I had that, I had pirates, I had all these kinds of issues around the station that all pile up, and he's just done with it. He just wants the First Order to help and be done with it. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing more of that, especially because we've all seen the trailer. We know where it's going toward, and I can't wait for that. With that said, guys, I think that's really all we can say. Not the best episode. I liked it, though. So let's just go to plugs. And for Nico, Yes,
I
the
know. Keep it damn short.
under 2 minute plug for this one. Where can people find you?
Here. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, at Neeku Suaveregoli. That's NICOSUAVEREGOLI. Film Nerd TV for Combat Zone Wrestling Trivia and the Week of Wrestling podcast. And over on Multiplex Entertainment, that's the name of the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. The Twitter is at MultiplexYT. The Instagram is Multiplex Entertainment Network. The T-Punk is just Multiplex Buy our awesome shirts. Check out the John Regoli Memorial Trivia-thon for Thon from January 21st to January 27th. Matches between Multiplex, Full Metal Trivia, Jukebox Trivia, and the main event will be the Combat Zone Wrestling Trivia Heavyweight Championship last person standing match between me and Andrew the Dude Hayes. Donate once the link is put in all of those videos to the 4 Diamonds Pediatric Cancer Research Fund in partnership with Penn State New Kensington's Thon Drive. And if you're in New York, I'll see you from the 24th to the 26th because Schmodown Live, I had to rub it in one last time.
You always do. Chris, people, where can they find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Stardust, at Skywalker Dome, and you guys can follow this very channel on Twitter and Instagram at D2A Channel. Please like our Facebook page, and you can follow my band Silver Nightfall all across social media at Silver Nightfall, and you can always find me right here hosting the Who Cares Anyway podcast, where this week we have from the Movie Trivia Schmodown, Chance the Cobra Ellison and Janine the Machine, here to talk about a very needed topic in today's world. So stay tuned.
And maybe I'll be on as well to help promote things for Trivia for Thon.
Why don't you make sure you're around on Friday night, Neeku? Come on now.
I will.
All right.
I'll probably be too. And you guys can find me. By the way, before I forget, if you like the review, click like on this video and comment on anything that we said throughout the review. Also, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you can find me on Multiplex Entertainment whenever they upload their next TV match. It's been shot for like a very long time already. I'm going up against Zadie Smith in TV fandom, but they haven't uploaded.
I promise I will yell at Tim Smith to get everything uploaded within the week.
Please do that because it's a pretty good match. I say myself, regardless of if I win or lose, it is a great match. So check that out whenever it's finally uploaded there. And of course, I compete in movie fandom when that gets going again. You can find me at Dutch Movie Guy on Twitter, Kees Cornelissen on Facebook. I think that was our show. So all there is left to say is Viva la Resistance.
May the force be with you, always.
Yeah!